Welcome back to another episode of MotoGP Mac, and today we're going to talk about the Italian Grand Prix that just happened at Mugello. Now, before we get into it, here is how they finished. Pecco Bagnaia won it from Enea Bastianini, Jorge Martin, Marc Marquez, Pedro Acosta, Franco Morbidelli, Fabio Di Giannantonio, Maverick Vinales, Alex Marquez, Brad Binder, Aleix Espargaro, Raul Fernandez, Marco Bezzecchi, Miguel Oliveira, Alex Rins, Jack Miller, Pol Espargaro, Fabio Quartararo, Johan Zarco, Luca Marini and Lorenzo Savadori were the last ones across the line. Taka Nakagami didn't finish, Joan Mir crashed and Augusto Fernandez retired in the pit. Now, I have to say, when Pecco started the race, it was like, holy cow. I thought he wasn't going to make it. I thought he actually was going to get run off on the outside. But the aggression that he showed in the first couple of corners was absolutely unbelievable. And he just managed his race from there on out. A little bit boring that it wasn't a battle at the front, let's just say. But saying that, what an absolutely perfect race from Pecco. Absolutely brilliant. Enea Bastianini, going into the last 3 laps, he was in 4th place, passed Marc Marquez and then caught Jorge Martin in the last corner. It did look that he had massive grip compared to others. Another lap, he could have caught Pecco, I think. Jorge Martin, he said it all weekend that something wasn't right in the setup and he wasn't 100% comfortable. He was keeping Pecco very honest, if I'm honest about it. It was a good, solid weekend from him. Okay, he's lost a good number of points this weekend in the championship. I think it's down to like 18 points in the championship between him and Pecco now. But still, 3 weeks off to kind of rest the mind and the body. And we go again at Assen. Marc Marquez, really good race from Marc. He was not so happy with being moved forward on the grid due to Pecco's penalty. He preferred to start on the 4th place, which is on the right-hand side of the grid. However, he was then on 3rd place. He was moved to the left-hand side of the grid, so he didn't get the start that he wanted, let's just say. All in all, though, it was a really good race from Marc. Okay, he's not on the podium, but again, it is very solid. He's gathering points. He's not doing any harm to his stock finishing there. Pedro Acosta, very mature race, I thought, from Pedro. I think he recognised in the first 5 or 6 laps he didn't have the pace to go with the boys ahead, and he finished, which is something that he needed to do after the last couple of Grand Prix. Franco Morbidelli in 6th place, really good for Franco. About time, I would say, but really good to see Franco up there. Fabio Di Giannantonio, again, top VR46 rider, not doing his stock any damage. Really good performances of late from him. Maverick Vinales, you could see, that they were struggling, especially down the straights. They had it in the corners, but down the straights they were definitely really struggling against other competitors. So tough weekend really for him. Alex Marquez, again, look, it's a good solid 9th place. He hadn't had a bad weekend, but he is a long way behind the other Ducati riders ahead. Brad Binder, it's kind of weird. They're struggling with the vibration problems and this and that. Okay, it is a top 10, but when you look at the likes of Acosta ahead of him, and he is like 7 or 8 seconds up the road from him, Acosta is also experiencing the vibration issues, but he's just riding through it. So it's definitely something Brad and them need to look at Acosta's data and figure out how exactly he's riding through it, or is he just turning off the switch and ignoring the vibrations. Aleix Espargaro, again, solid 11th. Not really much did we see of him during the race, but saying that, look, it's points in a track where on paper the Aprilia might do well, but in reality it struggles, especially with the long straight. Raul Fernandez, really good race weekend from him. Again, he's beaten his teammate, which is all he really looked to do. Okay, he's on the 23 bike, 24 engine, but again, look, good solid weekend from him. Marco Bezzecchi, it's definitely not where you want to see him. You can definitely see where he's still struggling getting that bike turned in. Really can't feel it I would think if he had an option to go back to the 22 chassis, he would take it at this stage. Miguel Oliveira, not bad, 14th place. He was only 3 seconds behind Raul, but saying that he was another 14 seconds behind Maverick or something. So he is a good bit off. Alex Rins, not so bad. He is the winner of the Japanese Cup this weekend. But again, you didn't really see much of him. Jack Miller, same, solid, but again, outside of the points. He has lost his seat in the factory team. Difficult weekend, I suppose, just to put it down there. He has talked about other options and the options with Gas. Let's wait and see what he will do. Polo Espargaro, really good race weekend from him. Definitely there is a question there now. Do you put Pole in instead of Augusto Fernandez? Love to know what you think on that. Fabio Quartararo, I didn't really see what happened to him, but he was like 30 seconds off the race winner, and at least 7 or 8 seconds off Rins. So he was definitely, I would think, experiencing some problem. Johan Zarco, fastest Honda, 31 seconds behind. Luca Marini, 32. So Luca seemed to have found something in this race. He was definitely closer to Zarco than ever before. Lorenzo Savadori, again, testing. Can't really see what's new on that bike, but it's good to always see an Italian wildcard out there in the Italian Grand Prix. Taka Nakagami and Joan Mir. I think Taka crashed. I didn't actually see his crash. I did see Joan Mir end up in the gravel, and Augusto Fernandez was in the pit lane. Overall, I think it was a good race. It kind of picked up towards the end again, but it was kind of a little plateaued in the middle of the race, if I'm very honest. But saying that, watching MotoGP bikes around Mugello, the corners, it's just magic. But I would definitely love to know your thoughts. Who was your rider of the day? And what did you think of the Italian Grand Prix at Mugello? Definitely leave your thoughts in the comments below. And I'll be back again tomorrow with another video.